Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Ko Ben van Bruggen aho. No mai haere mai e te whānau. Good evening and welcome. And from up here, it is wow. It's fantastic to see so many people here for this event. I'm Ben van Bruggen, and I'm an urbanist and the founder of the Urban Room. And together with the Helen Clark Foundation, we're really delighted to invite you here for this event today. I also get the bit which just kind of can calm me down a bit, which is doing the housekeeping. So the bathrooms are over that side of the room. And if we need to exit, we gather, if there's an emergency, we gather on the upper grass terrace out there or at the back at the Merrill Drive footpath. And we'll be guided by the staff here in order to be able to do that. We will be using Slido tonight, so if you've got a question that you'd like to put to Helen and Jeanette, then please do put it on Slido. You can download the app, and the hashtag is hashtag #OurCity. If you don't know how to use it, there are a couple of people at the back that can help. We've started a little bit late, and we might be compressing the Slido questions a little bit. And I then kind of find it a little bit frustrating with Slido because it has this thing on it that says awaiting approval. And it always sounds very formal. And I always think, why are they not answering my question? Why are they not? Don't they know who I am? Actually, it just happens that it comes in order, and until you click the thing, you can't. So if you have hundreds of questions, we're just not going to be able to get through them. But I think what we'll try and do, I know what we'll try and do, is we will try and capture those questions, and then we can carry on the conversation so that we don't have to wait another 10 years to have our questions answered when Jeanette comes back. We'll be able to continue that conversation, which is what we're really about. The Helen Clark Foundation and the Urban Room shares a passion for urban environments and cities. So it was really great and very easy and natural for us to come together to put on this event here tonight. From the Urban Room point of view, I'm very grateful to our founding partners, sponsors of Boffa Miskel and Resine. And as the Urban Room is an independent, not-for-profit organisation, we rely on private sector funding. Both the Helen Clark Foundation and the Urban Room is also very grateful for the event sponsors that have been able to help us bring Jeanette here and keep her for a couple of days in Auckland. That's Britomart Group, so Jeremy, thank you very much. And also Grimshaw Architects, so Neil and colleagues, thank you very much for that as well. On a personal note, I think I'd like to thank Murray, who is the executive director, something like that, of the Helen Clark Foundation, who's my co-conspirator in bringing this about. Which is fantastic. Thanks to Ashley at Auckland Conversations, who's really helped put all this stuff together and has been very calm, especially tonight. Also to Catherine King of Wakatahi NZ Transport Agency, who can't be here, but they had a big role in bringing Jeanette and Seth here for a conference in Wellington that we were at earlier in the week. And I'd like to extend thanks to Seth Solomano, who is the co-author of Street Fight, the handbook for urban revolution that he wrote with Jeanette Siddique Khan, and also to Skye Duncan from Necto, who's helped in doing those things. And there's plenty of other people in the front row that you have my thanks. It really is quite an honour to be up here tonight and to get the opportunity to introduce not one, but two urban rock stars. To be able to bring the Right Honourable Helen Clark and Jeanette Siddique Khan together to talk on the same stage at the same time is a wonderful opportunity, and we will be inspired by what they both have to contribute. But before we move forward, I'd like to ask Simon Wilson to come up. Simon is senior journalist at NZ Herald, just because another one of our inspirational people and hero passed away this week, and we just felt it was appropriate to honour him. So, Simon.
Thank you, Ben. E hoa mā, kua hinga ke koe he tōtura nui I te wao nui a tānei. I want to speak for a moment about my friend, the great tōtura Rod Oram. I was on a small committee planning a climate festival event with him recently. We met several times in Federal Street, hitching our bikes together at the rail outside the offices of St Matthew's, on the newly made shared space at the top of that street, just down from the City Mission's marvellous new Homeground building, a little part of this city about which both of us were inordinately pleased. In those meetings, Rod was by far the most knowledgeable and insightful person there, and yet he was always humble, sharing what he knew in a way that allowed the rest of us to rise up. He inspired us, as I've watched him inspiring others in little groups and big crowds over and over. Last year he wrote, "We, along with the rest of humankind, must figure out how to achieve an utterly unprecedented speed of change, scale of change, and complexity of change, everything, everywhere, all at once." Popular culture guy, Rod, despite first impressions. Political scientist Bronwyn Hayward, famous on the IPCC, said yesterday, "There are people who are fierce lights of goodness, generosity, integrity and kindness. Rod Oram was all this and more. He was the first New Zealand journalist I knew to take degrowth economics seriously. He's still one of the very few. Most of us are too scared to go near the idea." In July last year, Rod wrote, "Early this Sunday, I'll hop on my bike in Almaty, Kazakhstan, and head for Istanbul, fulfilling the first part of my long-held dream of cycling from Beijing to Birmingham. Why would I want to ride 15,000 kilometres across Asia and Europe? Because I love cycling, and long adventures is the simple and true answer." Rod rode that first leg of his trip last August on the Silk Road. Nobody knew the businesses, farms, cities and technologies of Aotearoa or half the rest of the world like Rod Oram. Nobody knew more than he did about the threats we face from the climate crisis and the ways we're responding or avoiding responding. And nobody knew more than him about the opportunities we have to rethink business, to build better cities, to live better lives, to help the world find its way. It made him despair more than sometimes, but he also found and told the stories of those who do make a difference, the stories of hope. He would have loved to be here tonight. In his writing, his radio work, and at innumerable conferences and other events, he was, by nature and conviction, an enthusiast. The moustache twitched, the beautiful sentences rolled out. He got that gleam in his eye. He had a special skill. He conveyed urgency with patience and grace. It's not given to many. We had lunch a couple of weeks ago and he talked enthusiastically about his new plans. He was soon to set off on the next leg of his trip, following a route, cycling, previously travelled by his own grandfather, and he was going to write a book about it. As he rode, he said he wanted to learn about the past, present and future. He wanted to find answers to the question that underpinned all his work: how will 10 billion people live well and in the right relationship with the earth by 2050? He'd stepped back from his excellent weekly columns at Newsroom to give himself the mental space to do it. Rod died this week. He had a heart attack while out on his bike training for the trip. He believed, like many, that the advantages of this country could make us world leaders. Our abundant national capital, he wrote, distinctive cultures, small scale, close connectedness and global relationships are some of those advantages. Rod was one of our advantages too. Haere rā, Rod. There's still work to do, and now we'll have to do it, not with you, but urgently and patiently, in your name. Ngā mihi nui.